Hello.
So what's going on?
Well, it's a big day today.
Another big day.
It's the big reveal. If you thought the last videos were important, this is probably the most important video I've ever made in my whole life. And we're starting off here at St. Bartholomew's Church.
St. Bartholomew?
Yeah. Don't know who that is. I don't really care. It's all about what this church did, what Colin Bly did here, and Tim will be here any second to tell us all about it. So next thing you'll be listening to Tim.
It's a very...
I'm the most ignorant person on the planet.
This looks like a warehouse, doesn't it?
Ah.
It's the oddest church I've ever seen.
That's the south end, so the entrance is south. Not east-west. I messed it up.
Is that because I was recording?
I'm not telling you.
Boo-hoo, he's not telling me.
Uncle Tim will tell you in a minute.
I don't even know what I just did. It just happened, mate.
Is that why you're not telling me, or you do know but you're not going to tell me? I might as well ask Sir Hale.
We're loading the spiritual energy from the church into our crystals.
Do you want to talk about Sir Hale?
Oh, here we go. He rang me up, he texted me this morning.
Let that go.
Wanted me to take him out.
And he lost something. He dropped something, bent down, and couldn't get up, and needed a little bit of help.
But the fact that he only remained in the hospital for 10 days is beyond a miracle, and he's walking. And he discharged himself and took himself home after a 15-hour back operation. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, you've told us that you found Pease Law.
Yeah.
And you took some video of the TR3B.
Yes.
But you haven't told us you were in Pease Law.
Yeah, so we had permission to go onto the farmer's land. We got thrown off first, so we went and found the farmer. Had a nice chat with him, told him what we were all about, talked about crop circles and UFOs, and he said we could go back up onto the land. So we've gone back up there. We're about to give up and go home, and this thing came over us. I don't know, half a mile away. It's hard to tell. 3 white lights and a red light in the middle. Pulled out my video camera. Unfortunately, it was on manual focus, so it's a rubbish film. The film I've given you. We'd done a time check. It was, I don't know, it was 1:30 something. It was very late at night, and we all checked the time. The next thing you know, we're climbing back into the van, looking at our time, and we've gone, hang on a minute, we just got out of the van and got back in it, and half an hour's gone by. How does that make any sense? So, Hale and James got their regression done. I've never had regression for anything, and don't know. And they said it was Delta Force that picked us up, took us in the base. I don't know how we got inside it.
It's such an inverted, it's a flat,
it's an upside down triangle. I just want to say, the first time I ever saw that triangle, I was with Wilson in Chichester, and he was attacked by, he was either MI6 or MI5. I went racing through town to rescue him, and the guy grabbed hold of Wilson's camera in the middle of town, smashed it out of his hand. Wilson's picked it up, taking pictures of him, and he went back off on a government agent. And we saw him get into a van that they build. I looked it up on the internet. The van he got in was for a big building company, and they build all the underground installations for the military. Yeah. So he gets in that and drives off. Wilson and I then sat outside my house talking about what just happened in the middle of town. And this van comes down the road. The 2 guys in the van both go like that at us. Behind it is a silver Vauxhall Astra van with all aerials and radar on it. Behind that is a bloke on a motorbike, all dressed in black, and as he goes past us, he turns his head like that and stares, and he had an upside down silver triangle on his back. We drove to the police station, and they were all parked up around the back of the police station. And I thought, oh yeah, there we go, Tim Tim.
All their military bases.
So, but when I was in Peasemore, I was strapped down on a silver table. James and our other friend were allowed to just stand there. Guy comes in with a clipboard. Clipboard scientist and all that, starts pointing at me, going, "What the effing hell is he doing in here? You should never bring him in here. He's the last person we ever want in here." And they threw us out. Well, they threw me out. And then James said that they put a clamp on my mouth and pushed these green eggs down into me.
Green eggs?
Yeah. Waste of time, wasn't it, on their part?
Green eggs?
Yeah. They could have had them with some chips or something.
Yeah. You haven't never
But,
mentioned that before?
No, I forget things. But when I went to the toilet for 2 weeks afterwards, it was all green, so yeah. Now, here's something I never told you. I went back to Peasemore 2 weeks later with my photographer friend, just to have a look around and show him what had happened. And we sat in the pub, and it was 10 o'clock, and I was laughing about what had happened before. Everyone was in there eating dinner, watching the late night football, and it was 10 o'clock. We both checked our phones with the clock on the wall. Everything went black in the pub. Everything went off. Everything went black, and came back on again. And an hour had gone by. I'll never forget that. And everyone was still there, but the time was an hour different. And that was an instant. I can't explain that. I have no idea what happened.
When I went down to Peasemore initially to see the place, I always missed the pub.
Yeah. He won't stop now. He's on one, he won't stop.
Cheap side.
We just did ours outside the squares.
Oh, right, you did your outside. That's good. We started. Brilliant.
So this is the perfect Freemasonic church, 169 feet long, with an extra foot for the doorway, which is 13 square, and 144 feet high, which is 12 squared. This is St Bartholomew's, where I met the great man Colin Bly in September '81, and he was the magus of a secret department of MI6. He used to be in military intelligence, friends with Michael Benteen, and there was a whole group behind him who were trying to use the Knights Templar technology to bring down the pesky Russians and destroy Arthur Scargill and those horrible Union people. So he had a high priest doing a high mass to incept the Fountain Group, which on the surface was love and light, and in fact was there to collect loads of this minus I energy. And then, of course, this secret department of MI6, he was the modern-day Dr. D, the 007, was going to use it to destroy the filthy Russian threat and the filthy Union threat. So, of course, I come here every day to feed off the Christian church, feed off all those Christians who are giving their souls to the Elohim and all their love and light to God who protects them and has turned the earth into a paradise on earth, where they're all super rich, like Elon Musk. They all drive Ferraris, they all walk on the street. Oh, sorry, that's heaven. That's going to happen once they're dead, we're told, but I haven't met anyone who's come back. So I always start with sucking out all the energy from the Christians, and I do it 84 times, which is the 12th term of the Fibonacci series. If you go up to the 7th level, I won't explain. Need a whiteboard for that, I can't be bothered. And then after that I start poisoning the Christian faith to hell bomb it, to put in minus I. So of course then we use the death spot, my death spot, because remember the entire West wants to kill me. The Pentagon's gone mad about my hell bomb technology. The Rothschilds have gone mad because I'm starting to kill them. Poor little Annabelle Rothschild, who was forced to drop her Rothschild name, first wife of the Crown Prince of the West, the fucktard Nathaniel Rothschild, who's the son of Jacob Rothschild, who looks like the billionaire from The Simpsons. Exactly the same. In fact, I think that is actually the caricature of Jacob Rothschild, your Lord and Master. So when we mention him, you should kneel down, kiss the floor, because we've uttered the name of your supreme leader. We talk about North Korea, but in the West, the Jacob Rothschild controls the West utterly. Everything's done for him. He prints all the money, Federal Reserve, Bank of England, Bank of International Settlements in Basel. They've been behind every war since Napoleonic times. The Chinese printed a book on the Rothschilds explaining all this, which was a bestseller in China, not allowed to be published here. And of course, Nathaniel is the crown prince, and it'll soon be your master when Jacob pops his clogs, or the walk-in, whatever, inside it, reptiloid, according to David Icke, wanders off into Nathaniel. Now then, of course, the next thing is to poison, to put the minus I into the Christian faith. So then, of course, we do 13 concentric squares, which go inwards, which of course is the pyramid. So all pyramids are evil, but they don't tell people they're minus I generators. We're going to talk today about using the pharaonic science, which is the basis of Illuminism, to destroy the Rothschilds in the West. Just a normal, light-hearted topic. So I do it twice. And today's the perfect day because it's the 22nd. 11 stands for death in the Kabbalistic tree and death. So 22 is double death. And 7 stands for the exchange rituals of Kabbalah, where you give the 7 deadly sins and evil to your enemies and take the 7 good things from them. And people who want to look that up can look. It's up in the appendix of A.E. Waite's book, The Holy Kabbalah. I had a pristine copy until the council smashed my flat up and ripped it to pieces, just for, I don't know why, but seems to be the norm. So we put death in, and then of course we need a luciferic stone for the minus I part of the Argan diagram. So you need to watch part 1 or part 2. This is part 3, I think. I've lost count.
This is part 3 of the science of... Well, it's part 5 actually. Yeah, part 1's really cheesy, then we had part 2 in your flat. And then part 3 was part 1 of this.
That's
You're
good.
Confused. But just
well, say the listeners follow it. I've lost interest. I've lost interest. So then we hadn't told it. So we put another 13. That's using the minus I stone. That's what I do normally every day. Then, of course, I call up all my enemies. The Colin Bly taught me how to call up the archetype of your enemies. So I call up all my enemies. Then I stick my death into them.
That's why you hold your back left shoulder.
Yeah, all the time. I want to kill them all, you see. All my enemies are on my death list. So if you look on psychicwarfare.com, you'll see the list of my enemies who will all drop dead like Annabelle. The more...
That's your website?
Yeah, well, I'm one of them. One of my websites. Then we can call them up again, use the luciferic stone, pop them, and pop. Now, of course, luckily, we've had, since the last part 1, part 2, part 3, or whatever it was, part 17, we've had proof point. Remember, it's all well and good saying you're going to do things, but we've had just a bit of publicity from the last video. The Mail and the Sun have been publicising me like mad, where we had, for example, from the Sun. You've got to love the Sun. The Sun's a glorious paper. About dear little Annabelle Rothschild, first wife of the Crown Prince of the West. The Sun would be having me in the paper every day if they could, but remember, I'm demoted. You're not allowed to talk about me, so, you know, whatever I say will never be in the press because it's national security. And, of course, the Mail, which I love the Mail. Screw those migrants. Go for the migrants, Mail. Kill. Kill those migrants. Slaughter them. Yep.
And who are these exactly?
I don't know, they're all fucktards, I think, but that's Annabelle Nielsen, who used to be Annabelle Rothschild, first wife of the old Crown Prince. Aren't you bowing down and kissing the floor when I mention your Crown Prince, Nathaniel?
No.
Oh no. You'll get punished for that, punitive action. So then we place it on the floor. All the energy from sun readers, all that's a nice minus I. And of course we want to poison it with minus I. So of course we get our damned soul, who's super worshipped. Whose soul I bought off the great Lord Lucifer for all my technology, without which I'd have been screwed. You might have heard of her. KP. Kate Perry to you. So she's the minus I soul, which we can then use on the female soul of the dead one here. Oh yeah. And then we just insert this eye to the eye inside Christian faith. There we are. And we can draw our concentric circles again, squares. You don't want to touch the stone too, KP, otherwise it might damage the poor woman. She's very valuable, my most valuable possession. And minus I, damned soul, is worshipped by billions of people. Her videos have had, 10 billion views? So she was the game changer in my war against the Rothschilds, because I need the minus I route. And since I haven't sold my soul to the great Lord Lucifer, I needed one of his prized possessions. Now we can wander off. That is the hell bomb technology. Put minus I with a massive amount of minus I, and Annabelle Rothschild with the sun and the male, plus KP inside the Christian I to give you the hell bomb, which then of course you can use to delete information or to change causality or to change timelines. All of which is explained in the hell bomb service on psychicwarfare.com. Beautiful church, and then we shall wander off.
He was the secret deputy director of the CIA when JFK was in power, and he was his right-hand man at the age of 14 years old. So yeah, psychic child and all that, and their parents were best friends and all this. So
That's now running. Well, what have we just done?
We've just been into Bartholomew's church.
But you were doing some kind of thing with squares that Tim was doing inside.
Was I?
Yeah.
Aren't you nosy?
I was very...
I'm not telling anyone what I do.
Oh,
Tim will tell you what he does.
so we'll do that.
He's the man.
And where are we going next?
Okay, so we started off in St. Bartholomew's Church, where Colin Bly started.
Who's this guy, Colin Bly? He seems to be...
I used to own a big music company, and I used to cut vinyl records. You knew that, didn't you?
Yes.
So I used to cut
I was speaking
grooves
to my former web girl.
into the virtual records, and I did. I've cut #1 records. I've done R. Kelly's Ignition. That was the best record I ever did. I had a little tear in my eye the day I did that, because that was my dream, to work on #1 hit records.
#1 hit record.
Yeah, so I did all that. I did Chris Brown's first record and a few others. But anyway,
I'm gonna order a cup of coffee.
I'll keep talking. That's weird. I'm now talking to just a camera, which is it's weird. I don't know what to say. I've gone all blank now. You've left Mars, so I'll tell you. So I came to Brighton, moved my business to Brighton, and my office was outside one of the places we're about to go and visit, and that's the Obelisk next behind St. Peter's Church. And my office was right next to it, and I used to sit there, and I didn't have to do much work because I had an engineer that actually cut the records, so I just used to make everything happen. So half the day I'd sit there with my feet up on the window looking at this obelisk, thinking, why are you there? You don't make any sense to me at all. So I googled St. Peter's Obelisk. Colin Bly came up, and a story about how he learned to douse. So I read his story, got some coat hangers, I went out onto the Steen, the grass bit we're about to walk down, and I walked across where the grass, you get fairy rings, and the grass looks greener in circles, and I walked across with my dowsing rod and they started spinning. And I'm losing my shit, going, what is this? What is this? So
it's ley line, energy ley line.
It's ley lines, yeah. That was my introduction to ley lines. I then, a friend of mine, I then wrote to someone else I'd found on the internet, who I don't want to mention now because I haven't spoken to her on the phone yet, and we really need to talk. And she came over and we made the Holy Grail Vortex film, which is all about Avebury and Stonehenge, and it was information people had never heard before. It was the Elohim stuff, you know. So
now, for people who listen to this later, can you reference, is that on YouTube, or where can they find it?
That's all on YouTube, yeah. Under Gridkeeper, yeah. So I've then gone off for 2 weeks around Avebury, visiting crop circle, and we did, you could say it was a ritual. We did a ritual, and there was no crop circles in 2006 until the day we did this thing, and we changed the frequency of the Salisbury plane using a mirror effect and stuff. And that night the first crop circle appeared, and we were bouncing resonance waves from Silbury Hill to Merlin's Mound. And Merlin's Mound is in Marlborough College, and it's 2/3 the size of Silbury Hill. So we bounced this resonance wave. That night, on the hill, across the road, near West Kennet Longbarrow, across the road from Silbury Hill, a crop circle appeared, and it was in June 2006, and it was like a 3D set of like 7 circles.
Now, when you say it appeared instantaneously, or the next day, or the next week, or
that evening, yeah, and it depicted these 7 circles, and it was Silbury Hill, and the next one was 2/3 the size of it. And that I held on to that, and I thought, I can't tell people this. No one in the world's ever going to believe me. So it changed my life, and I then went back to work 2 weeks later. Walked into my very expensive music company. The machine in there was brand new, was £250,000, and that was just the machine that cut the records, let alone anything else. I walked in there, went to my photocopier, picked up an A4 bit of paper and a green pen, and I put the engineer's name on it, and I wrote, "I hereby sign everything over to you." Dated it, signed it. I walked down into the cutting room. I went, "George, this is for you, mate. You've earned it." And I walked out and never went back. And that was what Colin Bly did. It changed me, you know, and I had to know what the truth was. And I spent 10 years thinking I knew what the truth was. And I did lots of things. I don't regret anything I did or what I learned. But since I met Tim, my life got turned on its head again. And everything I thought I knew was true, I threw it all away and started again. And what else can I say?
From the things he said to you, or introduced you to, or what does that mean? Elaborate for people who may listen.
Yeah, Tim. I told Tim about my experiences and what I'd done, and my family and my bloodline and all these things. And he just looked at me and he said, "Have you ever looked at it like this or thought about it like that?" And I said, "No." and my whole reality just fell apart around me in my mind. Everything just fell apart, and I thought, what I have been doing is an okay thing. Who was I always doing it for? I always thought I was going to help humanity, we're going to free humanity. All I was doing was helping the aliens, giving them energy and giving interdimensionals energy and feeding the Elohim. And I think because I went through that, I can now understand more of what Tim talks about when he mentions these things, and I really know what's right and wrong now. And I tell it all, this is to all the light workers watching this. And this won't be all of you, but most of you, everything that you think that you're doing right is actually wrong.
Why can you say that? How can you say that?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I wanted Tim to explain that to you. Understanding evil. Understand evil. And where the energy goes and who God is. No, I know what the West stands for. Western Evil Satanic Territory. Controlled by Zion. Zombie installations operating negatively. And run by the... and I'm not being anti-Semitic, it's the truth. Jews. Judas, evil, walking Satanists. So what is evil? People don't understand what evil is.
Camshaft, so it opens the valves up much quicker than Fords and Chevys. So the ley line before it comes to the church, so let's see if we can find it. No, right up there. So the ley lines...
that's where you live up there?
Yeah, but the ley lines aren't constricted, they come in from the sea along this natural channel. And then one of those ice-based generators constricts the ley line, and then of course you can add information to the ley line, which then feeds the humans. Remember, humans are little bubbles of earth energy, so the churches can be used then to completely control the information, the causality, and of course the multiverse that these little bubbles of energy inhabit. So as you can see, churches are built on stargates, on major ley lines for control, and the Freemasons and the Illuminati have been using this technology in order to control the population, and in the case of the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Bronfmans, etc., Oppenheimers become the masters of the West. Now, when Colin Bly went to China to make the Chinese a slave race, he didn't find the normal ley line system, just a 5-bar ley line system, and failed to be able to change the ley line system of China. So when Colin Bloy and his MI6 occult group tried to destroy China with Tiananmen Square, they failed because they didn't control the ley line system. But of course they were able to control the ley line system of Russia, and that then enabled occult warfare to destroy the Soviet Union. The same with, think about it, you can control the energy of the ley line system, change the information using these ice-based generators, change the causality, change the timeline we're in, and therefore you can move from the unionized Arthur Scargill world of the 70s, where the government was brought down by the unions, to the new capitalist, or later on kleptocracy, which we're in now, of Thatcher, using this technology. So these little bubbles of energy, wetware as I call them, aren't just wetware, they're actually little bubbles of earth energy that wander around, and using this technology we can then manipulate these little bubbles of energy to do exactly what we want, to be in exactly the timeline we want, and then to erase their past and change the past to the past we want, to get the present we want, to get the future we want, using this technology. So as you can see, whoever controls this technology controls what happens on the planet. And unfortunately for the Rothschilds, as a scientist, I have systematized the knowledge to the point where they've lost control. Because remember, they're still in the Uri Geller Israeli phase, which is visualizing and occult ritual and symbolism, where in fact I'm into the machine code, which is all mathematics, and therefore whatever they do at this level is irrelevant, because the machine code simply changes the programming of what they're doing up here, as Uri Geller found out with the World Cup, where there was a massive effort by Geller and the Israelis to corner the market on psychic warfare, so the Pentagon fuckwads would pay them 15-20 billion to defend the West against me and the perfidious people that follow me. And he was therefore in the Sun and on television, getting people to donate all their energy to footballs and spoons, so the Israeli military could get England to win the World Cup. And I was laughing because, of course, I'd booby-trapped the Israelis by allowing their fat woman to win the Eurovision Song Contest. Remember, all these contests are uplines for energy, but in fact I'd sabotaged it by getting the Albanian Gimpoid to ruin the England song by running on stage and ruining her set. So the more energy the Israelis got to try and defeat me, the more that energy would be converted into destroying the English and whatever the English were trying to do, which of course happened, and England didn't even beat Belgium in the runners-up. They came fourth with all the effort of the West, desperate to prove, because remember, with the CIA it's all proof points. Someone says something, well, prove it. If you can prove it, oh, then we're interested. And Geller, of course, and the Israelis had to prove they could get England to win the World Cup, knowing that I hate the England team and always destroy the England team, always ruin the England team. Why? Well, simply I'm a sadistic bastard and I like antagonising MI5 and the British deep state, who use, of course, the winning of football as things to elevate themselves and wave the flag. Now, with the obelisk here, we've got a eye to the eye system. Why? Well, think of this as a 3-space connected to the ley line energies in complex number space, and we can either upload into the 3-space of the noosphere the C, which is the good stuff, or which is stored in one of my clear quartz crystals, or the minus I, which of course is stored in citrine. Why do you use a citrine? Because in Kabbalah, when the great Lord Lucifer fell to earth, one of the stones from his crown fell out, and in Kabbalah we have a Shethliah stone, which is that in the Sefer Yetzirah, creation came from the circles round the world, which is torsion fields, being downloaded into one of these, a Shethliah stone, and then you get the water coming out, which is the complex number energy, which then turns into fire, which is this side, the minus I energy, which then manifested the 7 levels of the Kabbalistic manifestation. So I'm just using in the noosphere what is designated as a Lucifer stone in order to apply minus I. So one can think of these two psychotronic generators store energy. We can then decide what energy from the ley line system we're going to dump into the noosphere. And this, of course, is a giant penis, which is penetrating to have the eye within the eye, as we talked about last time, inside the noosphere, which controls the reality of the planet, the noosphere being the mental size space which collapses the quantum wave function to produce reality. So if one wants to produce good stuff in the UK, one can then start adding whatever information, whatever causality, whatever timeline we fancy to turn the UK into a nicer, better place. Or we can add minus I to make the UK have a causality where the past, present and future are changed to destroy the UK, where the information in the UK is destroyed, like the information to make people fit and healthy is erased and they become fat and obese, to make them mad, to take away their sanity. And the front page of the Saturday Times, which I love, only on Saturday, is 700,000 of the fucktard children are on antidepressant pills because they're all mad. So one can see that the effect on the population with this technology has been dramatic. 51% of pregnant mothers depressed. A third of female teenagers on psychiatric treatment. And if you look, there used to be one person in the class who was fat, and now they're all fat. And by 20, I think they're saying by 2030, they'll all be off to hospital. And 2/3 of them will be obese. So the 2/3 of the population in the UK by 2030 will be clinically obese. This, of course, is all done by the technology of the great Colin Bly, who showed me when I left university and met him at St Michael's Day Inception in St Bartholomew's. He started teaching me all about the Illuminati magic and the prime technology, which is if you want to control the planet and human civilization, you've got to control the earth energies, because your energy compared to the energy of the planet is insignificant. So you can see why the Illuminati and the Freemasons are there. They've got technology to control the energy of the planet and are using it to control the noosphere. Unfortunately, Colin Bloy gave me the keys to the castle because I was his apprentice, his spiritual son, and rather than end up like Colin Bloy, as fat, old, ill, and having all my money stolen by the Rothschilds, he was a multi-millionaire and lost it all with the banking collapse of Lloyd's Names in the early 90s, I decided I'd do the opposite, which is become young, fit, healthy, super rich, and slaughter everyone and anybody who got in my way using this technology. Because remember, you can't be taken to court for using psychic warfare on anybody, because there's no law that covers it. And of course you want to be taken to court because you want the publicity. Can you imagine Tony Stark Rifat taken to court by the Rothschilds for killing Annabelle Rothschild? That would be great for business. So hopefully the Rothschilds will lose their cool and take me to court. But of course I know they won't. They'll just sit there as I butt-fuck them and then beg to lick the shit off my penis, because they're tormented and terrified by this technology, because they've been using it since the 30 Years' War to become the preeminent rulers of the planet. Remember, the Rothschilds had 50% of the world's wealth in Napoleonic times. Now, of course, as the Earth's immune system, I'm simply killing off the Rothschilds and changing the regime. Because remember, America's dying, the American Empire's going, and the Chinese will be taking over the planet. Now, with one of these weapon systems, one can see it's got the eight sides put into it. The 8 stands for the male principle, the 6th term of the Fibonacci series. Then we go into a 4 up the top, and we see a little hole up the top there which links up with the church so it's all precisely aligned. And this side, of course, is the fire side, the minus I side. As you can see, all the ambulances coming past because this causes death and destruction. The noosphere is controlled by one of these, so simply applying a bit of minus I energy will change reality, and we get little omens like that. So we can simply put one of these on there to tune the earth energy to pump into the noosphere the minus I energy to damage the UK and the people in it, or we can wander around. This side in occultism is the realm of fire, or we can wander around this side. This is the west from our Argand diagram. We can stick on one of these crystals to input information, change causality, and change the timeline to make Britain and the British in it a better place. In occultism, the south side, crush a few weeds, is the realm of man.
There's been some kind of plate there.
Oh yeah, they've been stolen. There were nice brass Freemasonic plates either side. They were ripped off and stolen because remember in Colin Bloy's time this was a pristine obelisk with lovely brass plates, weathered that colour either side, and now of course they've been stolen because the country has fallen into rack and ruin because of this technology. Remember in London all the knifings with zombie knives and acid in the face, and robberies, Michael McIntyre losing his Rolex, all that stuff is just a resultant of this technology. Remember the Rothschild said they crushed me like a flea, my ramblings would have no effect on reality, and now of course I'm simply twisting in the knife before I go back to the Far East. So this south side's the realm of man, so you can simply add specifically good stuff to the population fed by this ley line, or the bad stuff on this side, which then affects specifically the human bubbles which are wandering around on the ley line system. So you can take away from the south side their good looks, their thinness, their longevity, their intelligence, their procreative power. Remember, both males and females are having problems procreating because their sperms and eggs are degenerating. Remember, they're all energy fields, and you can afflict and change the energy field using this technology. And the side I always use, because I'm a black magician, is the north, the realm of the black magician. In occultism, this will be the water. We come round to the north side, which I always use, being the preeminent black magician. And as you saw, we got the plaque on the north side that's stolen, but it's great for eye to the eyeing the obelisk. So you can actually put your psychotronic generator inside the obelisk, and your eye to the eyeing the eye to the eye generator, which is used to control the noosphere using this technology. So I always, when I come to one of these, I don't take any energy. I'm always giving energy to it in order to tune the ley line system. We have our 13 concentric squares, which of course we're adding evil into the noosphere, and we always use the death spot. Then we do the minus I side to make it reality. Remember, on the horizontal, you've got to do it both sides, otherwise you don't make it 100% real. Why? Because the more energy you put into something, the less probable it becomes. That's the physics of mean free paths. So you've got to zero it out in order to get 100% reality. So strangely enough, if you put energy into trying to do something, the more energy you put into it, the less effective it becomes. And as we can see again, now we've got a fire engine. Another one. So not only does this technology cause illness and damage in the population, we can get the UK burning from all the rioting that's going to happen with the race war to come, all the violence, etc., which is in the future of the UK. Then we put in the concentric squares again. And of course, what we can do is leave the complex number nastiness inside. To make this a hell obelisk to destroy the country. Remember, the MI5 have been desperate to kill me, destroy my property, wreck my flat. So I'm doing to the country what they did to my flat. All easy with Colin Bly's technology. So let's wander on down to the two Kabbalistic pillars which constrain the ley lines. Hey Miles, don't stop, don't stop. Funny cheap. Here we are, we've got our water table. Water stands for the south, or -1, and is the realm of man. And underneath we've got, resting on 3 lions. The lions are the animals of -I. The animal for the south is man. Man's an animal in occultism. And these lions, as you can see, we're having a generator where the -I is controlling the free space.
It's controlling 3 space.
Yeah, the 3 space of the humans in the water, the south. And 3, of course, is the free space, which of course also is the 4th term of the Fibonacci series. So 3 of these lions will also control space-time. The 4th term of Fibonacci series is 3. And underneath them, we've got the plinth, which stands for the Earth. Earth is the north. And that's the realm of the Black Magician. So the Black Magician is using -I, 3 space, to control the realm of the humans, who are in the south, in the water, and of course their spirit, because this circle in machine code stands for spirit. And as you can see, you've got the embellishment. We're actually cutting out their spirit. So you've got in there vivisecting the spirit of the human goyim embedded in this innocuous little water table. And the Black Magician stands here. As you can see, the lion is bowing down witches, to the ultimate Black Magician and Ipsissimus. And we've got the plinth, which isn't 1, but we've got 2 plinths. And as you can see, either side, we've got the triangles. The triangle stands for 3, the female, that's Binah in the Kabbalah. So one can see that the Fibonacci series is here. The first one, the male, that controls the second one, the female, which is the 3, used to control the -I to get power for a Magus, because remember Colin Bly gave me the energy keys, so I can simply stick in the key, turn it, and in this case upload the energy from damning the humans to me. If you do it, this is just air masturbation and won't even get you off, but he gave me the keys. So the Rothschilds and the rest of the Illuminati were fucked. because Colin Bly was the Magus, the 007. He had to be given all the power to destroy Russia and the Unions. Then I, as his apprentice, simply took the keys off him, and when I left him in 89, they found they were unable to use this technology on the Chinese because the keys to the castle, the keys to Illuminism had come to me. And then of course they were fucked because they promised to make me rich. They didn't. So they then had me deciding I was going to fuck them over, get revenge. Now with one of these, of course, one do the same thing. Let's put some evil energy into the human scum of England. So remember, we've got the 13 concentric squares which make the pyramid. All pyramids are evil generators, minus I, because they're the only things that give you energy. Remember that minus I part of the diagram going to the east, so no wonder they built pyramids. Mounds, on the other hand, extract energy. So when you stand on a mound, as you say, you're talking about your mound, they suck energy out of you. And in order to push yourself into the mound, you require a huge amount of energy because it's energy dependent. So when you stand on a mound, it doesn't power you, it drains you. So there we go. So now we've activated this to its purpose. Why would they build these things? Well, George IV, the Prince Regent, was obsessed with black magic and set up the Hellfire Club, and he built Brighton as a spiritual Shangri-La for black magicians, where the Downs encapsulated a cup which is supposed to be the female vagina, which he was fucking using the ley line that comes in the penis. So all the modern rituals of the Illuminati, the Eyes Wide Shut parties and all of that, reside from George IV's, the Prince Regent's time, and his pavilion's down there. So you can see why Brighton's a wonderful place to be a black magician, because it was incepted as the heart of black magic in the West by George IV, who was the son of the mad German George III. Now we've got the police, so as you can see, we're building up the noosphere to start manifesting. So all of this technology will bring death, destruction, fire, death, civil disorder to the UK. As Colin Bloy was doing the opposite, he was using the energy to dampen down the population and turn them into the McDonald's, Starbucks, zero contract slave that is the norm now, but in 81, when he started, it was highly unionised, and we didn't have these zero-hour contracts fucktards that are the norm now. So as you can see, the West was totally changed by Colin Bly to become the total slave state kleptocracy it is now. Let's move on down. So here we've got the witches bowing down at my feet. You want to shine the trainers while you're down there, woman?
And it's off.
Yeah, that's probably because the deep state's upset about doing the video. There's no, as you said, hosepipe ban, because it's run from the underground stream that runs under here, which is part of the ley line system. But as you can see here, we've got 8. 8 stands for the male principle, because it's the sixth term of the Fibonacci series. So this is a generator to manipulate the male energy. And remember, the ley line coming in from the sea can be thought of as a giant phallus fucking the cup of the Downs. So this is one giant sexual energy orgasmic generator in Prince Regent's terminology. And he brought druidic stones from Ireland and Scotland down and had them placed over ley line system. There was a huge one in Eyre Street when I was a kid. You'd be finding these rocks all around, which came from Neolithic sites. So there's immense amount of effort put in. So we've got the 8 here, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fourth term of the Fibonacci series again. Strange enough is 3, to give us our 3 space. And in Kabbalah we've got Yod Hey Vav Hey, the 4 letters of Tetragrammaton, which control 3 space, and is the upline for Christianity and the Jewish religion. Then of course we've got the water, so we've got the male principle. This is a big male principle psychotronic generator, sucks out all the male principle from the male fucktards in Brighton, dumps it into the water. The water of course being the south -1, which then kills the male principle, added to the 1 of the male principle at the north gives you the 0. Inside you've got another, as you can see, we've got 2-step. Those are 2-step. Those are the first ones of the Fibonacci series. First one for the male one, the second one for the female one. So as you can see, in order to become an ipsissimus, Colin Bly was a magus. A magus is a black magician of the 2nd rank who hasn't welded his energy body with a female, and ipsissimus, which means master of his very own self, has learnt to suck out female energy to turn himself into a energetic hermaphrodite, which is needed, because remember, you can't do magic to the highest degree without the female component, or if you're a female, you can't do the magic to the highest level without a male, or males you suck dry. So throughout my life I've been sucking dry prime females like Kathleen Turner, then she became old and fat, Sharon Stone, who got the brain tumour and her face turned to putty, Kylie, who got cancer, Catherine Zeta-Jones went mad. So there's a whole range of these A-list women I've been sucking dry using Colin Bly's technology, which is the Grail state, the last Grail pattern, which he got the machine code of the Elohim, which they control the ley line system with, from a Grail stone in Andorra, and he doused them, put them in the book. Didn't understand them, gave them to me. I of course understood them, and I've been using them ever since. So Colin Bly was an amazing man. In fact, the pinnacle of an Illuminati 007 Dr. D, but of course he needed Edward Kelly, a psychic, so of course I was natural. I could see energy fields, see ley lines, see entities, travel into different worlds, talk to interdimensionals, etc., etc. So I was the perfect fit for the team. So if you look inside, you've got the male principle now sucked in, 3 space of it, into the water to -1 it, which of course is the realm of the astral, the soul, and then trapped inside so it can't get back. Remember the Hades, where Chiron, I think, rose you to the underworld. Then of course the spirit of the male is constrained within, remember spirit is the circle. Then of course we've got the spirit of the male uplifted, which is the Wicker Man principle. You build up a male so you can burn him alive or sacrifice him, like Jesus, or if you watch the Wicker Man film with Edward Woodward, or the Nicolas Cage one. Build them up, elevate them, and then of course we've got inside the fountain, and fountains are springs, man-made springs, which link you to the underworld. So for a shaman, if they wanted to do magic for the intradimensionals, then remotely viewing, projecting your dreaming body or your wide awake body. The dreaming body comes from this part and is the -1 or minus I. A minus means time-like, so that's dreaming. Or this side, which is the space-like, that's the dreaming awake body, as Castaneda calls it. I called it the lucid viewing body. And that's either the sorry, it's the 1 or the I. And space-like means this stuff. Time-like means the stuff you do this in a dream. So it's malleable, and you've got whale physics that controls it. So moving to the same place by different directions changes the distance to the place you're going in time-like space. That's whale physics. W-E-Y-L for people who want to look it up. But you'll have to be mathematically competent. So then the male principle is then dragged into the underworld via the fountain down and damned. So this is one giant Wicker Man machine right in the centre of Brighton to hellize the male population. And of course, as the Black Magician, I simply come along, oh, thank you very much, zero-sum game, all that lovely male energy to give me a huge penis, huge vitality, so I don't have to use Viagra. Now I'm supposed to be old. So you simply then upload it. All the good stuff, and again. There we go. And then you can stick it on your dick if you want to charge up your dick, or your arms if you want to charge up your arms, or if you want to charge up your intelligence, stick it up there. And then of course you can stick in more nasty shit into the male population using this. So we have our concentric squares. Talk to it. And we go the -I route as well. There we go. And as you can see, one of the rocks that the Prince Regent brought down is still there, over in that corner. There used to be many, many more when I was a kid. It used to be all round Brighton in the grass days. Okay. So here we see the south side, the realm of man. Man's the animal. And we've got the 3 stepping stones. Which allow man, the male man, to enter into damnation of his own volition via 3 space.
So this is not just access for maintenance.
What? The south side is exactly the position you want to allow free access for the male energy to walk in via 3 space into this hell generator for males to sequester their spirit and then dump it into the underworld. And of course you've got the other side, the 5 as well, 5 for the pentagon, pentagram, pentacle, because you've got that side and this side. And of course as a Black Magician, you would not work in the south side, because this is the realm of man. You always work at the north. This is the side for the Goyim cattle. All they're there for is to supply energy and be hellized. So as you can see, whoops, there we are. The steps are the symbolic entrance, not for the energy of the male, but remember they are pulled into this in life, so they can physically enter into the mincer for male energy and be dragged into the underworld of their own volition. And this would be walking down the aisle and getting married, becoming fully fledged and joined with a female, because in the machine code, love is a double spiral, and this spiral, which goes around in this direction, anti-clockwise, dumps evil into the male, and this one, which goes around this way, when you douse love, you get the double spiral. This one destroys the goodness in the lover, and this one destroys, well, evilizes the lover, and this one destroys the good in the lover. So as you can see, when you marry someone, fall in love, the machine code turns them from young, happy lovers into the old hags and gits who hate each other and end up in the grave, dragged in, the males dragged into the hell machine.
their own volition.
Of their own, that's course. And of course the Black Magician grabs the one line that comes out of it and gives all that oneness, that unity, that power to yours truly, and you always top up your power via the gap. There's a hole in the energy body here to make you young, fit, rich, powerful, and able to be able to do things in the world, like killing fucktards like Annabelle Rothschild. So let's move down now to the statue of the female. But first of all, we have to go to the Kabbalistic pillars that constrict the ley line system to funnel it into the hell generator. So those two pillars there are the Kabbalistic pillars, if you see them. The one on the left would be the evil one, the one on the right would be the good one. But for the fucktard human, the one on the here would be the good one, and that one would be evil one. So
why would that be?
Because we want to get the fucktard humans to worship evil, so we get them to worship evil. So this here we've got the Kabbalistic pillars to constrict the ley line. Why? So we can funnel the ley line energy into our hell generator. And then remember after that we had the -I hell generator, one to hellize the males, one to hellize the general population. Then we had the Obelisk one after that. So you can see extreme changing of the ley line system. This is the big southerly ley line system that comes into the country with these innocuous little Illuminati hell engines. The Obelisk to control the noosphere using the energy of this ley line, and the church as a big psychotronic generator to feed the Vatican, who've been using complex number space to control the planet. Now, of course, the Vatican have lost control, and they're training up hundreds of exorcists to fight me in the noosphere, not realizing that they've lost the battle. Here, of course, is our left pillar. Left pillars are female.
Why is this left?
Because it's on my left.
As opposed to, well, if you were over there, would be your right.
Yeah, but remember, I've turned my position. So a human faces away from time. A magus or an ipsissimus faces into time. Why? Because if I'm observing what's to come, I can control the past and the present. If I'm a human and I'm looking at the resultant, then I'm simply living in the past all the time and can't control the future, which then can change the past and the present. So you can see.
Why was your sense of reference in terms of what's the future and past?
Because the Earth's axis points to the north and precesses every 26,000 years. So the Black Magician faces the north axis, and the human cattle faces the south. So it's just because of the alignment of the planet. Remember, we're using the Earth's energy. Your energy is inconsequential compared to that of the planet. It doesn't matter what you do with your energy. It's irrelevant compared to the energy of the planet. The energy of the planet means all these little bubbles are totally controlled. It doesn't matter what the emergency services or Theresa May and her government want, or the Americans or NATO want. They're simply torture toys in the hands of a magus or an ipsissimus. So you can see why the Rothschilds had to destroy Colin Bly after he destroyed the Russians and after he destroyed the Unions, and when he failed to destroy the Chinese, he'd like a used tampon to be thrown away and stuck in to hell, the fire of hell. And there we've got the male wood chipper to chuck the male energy into. So as soon as he failed with Tiananmen Square, a couple of years later, he went from being a multi-millionaire with a penthouse on Sussex Heights with his 2 factories to being destitute, only allowed £8,000 left, and having to live in his friends' houses as an itinerant healer. So the Rothschilds want black magicians to do their bidding, But once they're finished, they make sure, either by legal means, remember his fall was by legal means, Lloyd's name, or by accident with the fire service or illness, that they're gone because they're a threat. Remember, the Rothschilds are terrified of people like me because they know we control reality. So they build them up and then knock them down. The Wicker Man ritual. Unfortunately for them, I'm too powerful for the Rothschilds and simply use the Rothschilds as torture toys, as we see with Annabelle Rothschild, the first of the many Rothschilds to be slaughtered by this technology. And for the CIA, of course, it's a proof point. We do the video, Annabelle Rothschild dies, and then we wait for the next Rothschild to die. Now we see with this pillar, it's not a simple pillar. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got our 3 space again. But we've also embedded in the 5 with these slantings. And we've also, of course, got the 1, but the 2 levels of the 1, because we've got the 1 down here and the 1 here. So they're all embedding within the Fibonacci series. They're absolutely addicted to the Fibonacci series. Here we've got the 4, 3 space. On top, of course, the flaring out. Why? This builds evil. And on top, why? All the energy is condensed, made a higher frequency. So you can get higher frequency evil from one of these. So by placing one of these on there, I can charge my Lucifer stone with high energy evil to, just like Green Lantern's ring, charge it up with evil. So I can douse, you can douse evil. So you'd see the squares, which start off small. When you charge them up, you get a nice big set of squares. So you're increasing the size of the square you can make simply by feeding off the ley line system, and this tunes it to topping up with evil. And really, if you're going to top up properly, you'd want to go up the top there and get the higher up there, the higher the frequency of evil. See?
And what's the purpose of this stone top?
That's think of it a giant energy flame, which is getting the scalar from the ley line system, and you've got a huge source of scalar evil up the top, which is available for use. And by combining the two, you've got your digital engine, the 1 and the 0. Think of this as making things 0 and the other one as making things 1, in order to have a digital language of machine code to use good and evil to manipulate reality. You know, all digital technology is 1s and 0s. So with this technology, you can digitize the ley line system, and with your 1 and 0 psychotronic generators, this is a 0 psychotronic generator. You can charge that up with the negative 0 energy. So you've got your 0 in there, and you've got your 1 in one of these. Or you can have a little baby one. You've got a baby one somewhere. Baby. Then you can start putting that energy body inside that energy body, or a small one inside a large crystal one, which is a whole other range of technologies. So it's just a technology that gives and gives for people who understand and have the crystals. Any fucktard can buy a crystal, but of course they haven't got the keys. That's why you might say, why have the Illuminati lost power? Well, Colin Bly gave him the keys. He needed the keys to the castle to destroy the Russians and to destroy the Unions, and then I simply took the keys off Colin, so Colin couldn't give the keys back to the Rothschilds, and the new Rothschild Magus that they decided in their rituals would be the next guy that would take over the technology. So that meant that when the Rothschild Magus, and there aren't any Maguses because I've psychically chopped off their heads, as in Katy Perry's Hey Hey video, well, she chops off her own head. Their entire energy system, which they built over millennia, has been hijacked by yours truly and is now being used against them. And whatever they do to try and get it back, they can't, because Colin Bly gave them the keys. I've got the keys, and the only people who get the keys off me will be the children, and I hate children and avoid women like the plague. So as you can see, the keys to all this technology are permanently lost to the Rothschilds and the Freemasons and the Illuminati and the deep state, and they're panic stricken. So you might ask, why haven't they assassinated you? I've answered your question. If they assassinate me, what's going to happen to the keys? Lost forever. Oh my goodness. So you can see why I can simply swim out to the end of the pier and back every day without being pulled under by SBS divers, because they're desperate to get their keys back. And they can't get their keys back if I'm dead. They're permanently gone. Good, eh? I love it. Shall we adjourn to the other side? So here, of course, we've got the good pillar, which for the fucktard Goyim is the evil pillar. So this is all the bad stuff. This is the stuff I should avoid. I should go over there and pray and become a new ager and pump love and light and do everything I'm told is good over there. But this is all evil. This is nasty. I'm a millennial. I need to be in my safe space. Oh, I can't go near this. This is. Oh, it's frightening me. It's frightening me. Oh my goodness. Well, in fact, from the black magician's point of view, this is good. This is all the good stuff. So you see why New Agers are fat, poor, stupid, and have done nothing to make the world gooder, but have made it eviler, because they have been working from the other side. So you might explain why, if God's so good, hasn't he made the world into a paradise? Well, it's explained. All of his minions who are worshipping the Elohim are making the world eviler. So Satanists who go around slaughtering the Christians and their babies and their children and all that stuff are actually making the world a better place. And they're the ones who are the billionaires, trillionaires, quadrillionaires and A-listers, and all going to their eyes wide shut parties, or if they're Hillary Clinton's mob, torturing, butchering and eating babies, the Pizzagate stuff. Which all, of course, is the technology of Kalki, the 10th avatar of Hinduism, which we'll explain later on. So here, of course, we're absorbing the good stuff. So in this one, you can absorb there we go. And here we're going to take away the good from this to increase the evil of the UK. Very simple technology. Squares are the realm of the solid. Circles are spirit. And if you've got power rings, then the little diamond would be spirit. So we've got 18 there for the 666, so that hellizes anyone I come near. And that one, of course, is the spirit, to trap the spirit of the male within the female energy, to Wicker Man them, or on the other finger, fifth finger, to have all the energy of the witches and the females coming to me. So power rings are a must for black magicians. And I'm not a black magician, I'm what we would call a grey magician. What's a grey magician? A grey magician is one who uses black magic and white magic. I use white magic on myself and black magic on everyone else. There you go. Why? Only child, so I don't like sharing. Even with vampire technology, I just make more copies of myself. So instead of running in one body, I run in multiple bodies. So we've got Nick Elmer Fudd Richardson, who does all my pictures and all that sort of stuff. The Great Lord Beast, who's my consigliere, who goes around murdering people and drop Fukushima, who does all the hardcore nasty stuff. And Mike, Count Yaderberg, who does all my courier stuff, all my computer stuff. So as you can see, having your body in various other bodies makes sense. What do they get in return? All long life, psychic powers, and they get richer, more powerful, younger. So as you can see, it's quite a good bargain. And I prefer just lazing down the beach doing nothing, or drinking loads of beer. So as you can see, I don't want to work too hard on this body. Hard work. Shall we move down to the next psychotronic generator? It's debt. Now I'm a trillionaire. You've got my debt. That's how the Western economy. So we're running a debt economy. So this is a debt engine applied to their psychotronic generators. There we are. And then we can now suck up more female energy than we could before. So the more evil I put onto people, the more powerful I become, because they get more debt. That's how the economy works. It's a debt economy. Same with power. Remember, money is just complex number electricity. So Annabelle added to the mix, and we got the minus I bit to make it reality by Katy Perry, who I bought off Lucifer, to give me that side of the diagram. Because remember, I haven't sold my soul to Lucifer, and I'm not going to burn in hell when I die. So I need one of Lucifer's works of art from his collection. And remember, she's got 10 billion views. That's a woman with 100 million followers on Twitter. So she's got the most followers on Twitter on the planet. So you can see why I had to have Katy Perry for my collection, because she was a must for the minus I part of this technology. And since acquiring her, I've gained absolute dominance over the Rothschild filth. And as you can see with Theresa May and her government, they're in complete chaos because they've lost control of reality. And you can see why I've got so much about A-listers on my website, psychicwarfare.com, because they're needed for this technology. Remember, males are only one part of the soliton, you need the females as well. And in Madonna's time, when I was younger, there was only Madonna who led the music industry. Whitney Houston wasn't into Satanism and was sacrificed. I remember she became a crack whore, died in the bath, and a daughter also died the same fate. So it's the perfect sacrifice. So Madonna was the undisputed queen, but remember in Madonna's time we didn't have 10 billion views, we didn't have Twitter and all the other Facebook, all the worship. So the witches are a prime supplier of the 5 to myself, and they all bow down to me whether they like it or not. And I use Taylor Swift as my Wicker Woman, and all the evil, all the badness that comes to me I put into Taylor, so she's my picture of Dorian Gray as I get younger, more beautiful, more handsome, more wonderful, more generous, more amorous, more modest. Taylor gets fatter, older, and her thighs swell out and her face goes horseier. So look at Taylor Swift 2007, compare it to now, and that's why of course I trapped her in the bird's nest in the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium. Remember, the Philadelphia Eagles won the NFL. You support Gridiron, don't you? When I said I was going to suck out Timberlake at the halftime show and then make sure that Tom Brady fucked up and lost the game for them, I was on the Rent show, I said I was going to do it, and then it happened. Bang! All that energy from the NFL coming to me, and now of course I can stick the minus I of the hell-eyes Taylor Swift into NFL to hell-bomb America, the hell-bomb technology. So she's up there in a bird's nest, stuck there. It broke, so she's just swaying there with all the little minions clicking beneath. You can see the pictures, Taylor Swift in the bird's nest, and in Kabbalah, the Jews, now the super Jews, my people are the super Jews, all the sins of the world are dumped on the Good Shepherd, or in this case the Good Shepherdess, because I like equal opportunities. So instead of burning men in a wicker cage, we just burn Taylor Swift psychically, and all the sins from me and my vampires go into Taylor Swift and the Swifties, hellizing the Swifties and Taylor Swift, turning her into horse-faced hefty girl. And I go from being an old ugly man, as my friends can attest when they first met me, to a younger, handsome, wonderful, super modest man who is trying to help the world. I'm helping the world. The more money you give me, the more I help you. The less money you give me, the more I hellize you. It's quite simple. It's the economic equation. So you can see Taylor Swift is the Good Shepherd, and all the sins of the world are dumped on the Good Shepherd so that the super Jews can get all the good things in life. That's what the Illuminati have been using, and now I'm using Taylor Swift and the Swifties for that, and thankfully we can add to that Annabelle Rothschild and all of the Rothschild sows. And of course, thankfully, when the Crown Prince, the fucktard, Nathaniel, was married to Annabelle, when a man fucks a woman, there's energy tentacles here that go into the female and pull out her energy. So there's loads of Annabelle Rothschild energy in Nathaniel. So not only can we poison the female Rothschilds using Annabelle Rothschild, but we can poison Nathaniel and the male Rothschilds. So as you can see, it's just a weapon system that gives and gives, and allows us to think of it as the D-Day landing. Here we are, we've got the brave allies led by Attila the Hun Rifat, or Tony Stark Rifat, ready to break into the Zionist empire of the Rothschilds. We have our D-Day landing, which is Annabelle Rothschild. And of course, Annabelle has her energy in Nathaniel, who's going to be the new leader once Jacob, the evil guy from The Simpsons, dies. And we can then start hellizing the male Rothschilds and all the other Rothschilds using Annabelle. And also remember, Annabelle was one of these beautiful people, friends with all the fashion industry, so we can then use the fashion industry to hellize, put the minus eye of Annabelle and Tara Palmer Tompkinson, who was a cousin of the royal family, who also died because of this technology. And Steve McQueen, the fashion designer, who killed himself. All of this minus eye can be dumped into the fashion industry, which the Rothschilds are wearing, so that we've got the Rothschild's eye inside the fashion designed by the minus eye to give us the 5, which then we can control timelines or make me live to 200, looking like a 40-year-old. So you can see this technology, which I talked about on the board. It seems boring, but when you start applying it, it's sexy, because everyone is dropping dead, killing themselves, and all the news in the world is being made by this technology. And as you can see, the infrastructure of every Western city has all these engines built into it. But you fucktards don't know what's in front of you, because you're all goyim scum who are only there to lick the anuses of the Rothschilds, who are now my vampires, and feed us energy and money, and be debt engines. So let's wander on now to the male psychotronic generator to do love and light to the Rothschilds and the rest of the world. Remember, love and light. You've got him around that side. Rolling. And so what do we hold the -1 in? We've got a nice seashell pointed to the south, and as you can see, we've got the petal thing. Which has got our 7 petals for manifestation. This is a shell to store the -1, and this is to block the -1, all that nasty south stuff. Remember, the -1 added to 1 gives you death, -1 and 1 make 0, from the upline, Queen Victoria. So this is a shield, a -1 shield to protect Queen Vic from the nastiness of -1. And on this side we've got the square block, which is the earth for the Black Magician. So the Black Magician, simply here, you can put your crystal on there to protect you from the -1. And again. And then we can add, where's the Annabelle cunt? Give me the Annabelle cunt. We need the Annabelle cunt minions. Minions! Annabelle cunt! Lay the cunt in the...
In the shell.
Yeah, but make sure you don't touch it. You might want a stone to put on it. So now we put the Annabelle cunt upside down. Is she upside down? Yeah, don't use that. That's the wrong way. That's it. That's how cunt should be, hung up by their one leg. That's it. Perfect. God, this minion is good. You can be chief minion.
I have meaning to my life.
Yeah, chief minion. Right, so now we're going to destroy this shield from the Rothschilds, Nathaniel, and of course all the A-list women, so we can go around killing A-list women. Because remember, it's Me Too, so if the men have got to die in wars, let's add the females as well. So we get rid of it again. We put the evil to destroy the shell. Not for me, of course, because I'm the Black Magician. That's why, of course, I left foot on there to upload all good stuff of protection. And remember, this ley line's a sexual energy. So sex, the energy of humans, they're protecting the A-list women like the Queen, the Rothschilds, Rockefeller women from the -1 using this innocuous little thing in Brighton. So destroying this will mean that the Queen, the Rothschilds and the rest of the A-list women will be dying like flies. The effect will be horrendous, and we're amplifying it with the Rothschilds sow, Annabelle, first wife of Nathaniel, and her energy is in Nathaniel, so it will also destroy within the Rothschilds their ability to block out the -1 of the South, which is the energy released in wars. -1 generators are wars, and in complex number electricity and money, that's the energy you get from a short circuit. So when you put two live wires together, that's all producing this massive -1. Poison that again. And the good thing is, the Illuminati scum wouldn't have even realised the use of this because it was built in George IV this time, and the black magicians that built this, long dead, and they're highly secretive, so they wouldn't have even told future Illuminati the importance of this innocuous little object. And then of course we take the ring off. There you go. We got the Hell Ring, which puts the 7, the evil of the red Satan. So we're satanizing this for all but me, because remember, I want everyone dead apart from me and my vampires. I don't mind if you live a bit longer to feed me and pay me, but immortality should only be for the vampires. Then of course we have this ring, which we take off. We've got all the female energy now. There we are. Won't come off. There we are. Bloody woman, get off. That's it. Like two dogs stuck together. And then we stick that on there. So that hellizes the male energy, the 8, using the female's energy. So that allows me then to pump evil into the male via the female. So the females are used as a weapon system. That's why I've got Katy Perry fucking Bloom, so she's pumping all the minus iron damnation into Bloom, who is an Illuminati, went to some Illuminati school and is supposedly an Illuminati knight. So we can then poison the Illuminati using Bloom and get the male version of the minus eye.
He also did a ceremony with my friend Matt Spears at Kalki Generator in the underground.
Yeah, he's supposed to be an Illuminati knight, when in fact he's an Illuminati fucktard. So you can see why I want Bloom being fucked by Perry, because all that minus eye from Perry is going into Bloom to convert him and the male Illuminati into minus eye. Damned. So it's what you would call Typhoid Mary. So if you want to sell your soul, you can do it by selling your soul, or you can fuck Katy Perry or Rihanna or other witches who've sold their soul to Lucifer and get damned that way. So you see Lucifer's mad keen on the witches poisoning as many men as possible, which of course is Eve, Garden of Eden, with the serpent. And you see why I've got the rocks here, which is the north. These are all the north bit, the rocks. And these will be fragments from Neolithic sites. They went around the country and brought them into Brighton. So some of these will certainly have come from Neolithic sites.
And the importance of that being?
The energy from those Neolithic sites brought to Brighton to raise the frequency. So, next we're going to adjourn to the male statue, which of course isn't blocked from the -1, and in fact is the ritual sacrificial lamb. So this is the male psychotronic generator, yet again 3 space, 1, 2, and we got our plinth. If you want to be irksome, 4, but that's 1, 1, 2, 3, so that's still a 3. So as you can see, they've embedded the Fibonacci series to get that 3 space. And the 4th term, which is 3, and the 3rd term, which is 2, acts as a time density generator. So energy always goes from the 4th term, which is 3, to the 3rd term, which is 2, which gives us the principle of time density, which the Russians have been on. Hence the...
What do you mean by being on? When you talk about time density?
They did the research on it. They came up with time density. And time density loss produces cause, time density gain produces effect. So at the Eurovision Song Contest, time density loss by the English, where the Albanian wanker came on and spoilt the English Eurovision Song Contest. The Israeli woman doing the chicken song, remember the Goyim and chickens with the Katy Perry cats, absorbed the energy, but the cause was the destruction of the English to charge the Israelis. So when the Israelis tried to use that to get the English team to win the World Cup, they couldn't, because the energy they got to power themselves up was destroying the English. So they destroyed themselves, short-circuited, trying to power up the England team, when in fact the energy they got to power themselves and do the Eurovision Song Contest and get Wonder Woman, who's Gal Gadot, the Israeli, was all destroyed trying to get the English team to win the World Cup. So you can see how I booby-trap psychic warfare, and because of course Uri Geller is a fucktard and the Israelis don't have top physicists like myself to explain to them, they destroy the entire Israeli psychic warfare program because of trying to short-circuit it. So as you can see, letting people win, you can poison the chalice, like with Abramovich. Give me £10 million, otherwise I destroy Chelsea. No, I'm going to Putin, get the Russian psychic warfare program to stop you. We won the Premier League. We've won. No, because next season, after I've poisoned you, you'll get kicked out of the country. They won't let you back in, and Chelsea will get fucked. Now they're suing Conte because they don't want to give them the $9 million they owe them. So now Chelsea is in chaos. All the players want to leave because of me, and Abramovich had to become an Israeli citizen just to be able to come back into the UK. And even then they'll kick him out if he does anything like work. So you can see how much fun it is. He could have just paid me $10 million and I'd have got Chelsea to win the Premier League every season. Ching, ching, ching. Instead of which I got Man City to win the Premier League because they're a nice Muslim team and I'm the upline for all Muslim energy on the planet because Daddy was a Turkish Cypriot Muslim. That's all male energy football. So this collects all that football energy, NFL energy, or male energy. It's not protected from -1 being killed in violence and wars, because that's protected, the female's protected behind her shell, and as one can see, it then goes upwards. No constrainers of the ley line system. This is just a little island in the stream. We've got the plinth. The plinths always are there to concentrate the energy at high frequency, and up there we've got the man, the male archetype, who of course died. Remember, he died before Queen Victoria. And which way is he pointing? Which way is he looking?
East. He's looking off to
East, southeast.
Yeah, which is the -I going to -1 position.
his hand, what's the symbol of his...
hand, right hand, so he's giving energy. So that's a male, this is a male statue that's agreed to -I and -1, -I damnation, -1 dying in wars or dying of illness, giving away its energy to whoever controls the black shit to cause -I and -1. So as you can see, just by chance, this is a male generator to hellize males yet again. So all the males, upline all the males, and then we upline them, and then we do them in like Johnny Depp, 2/3 of a billion gone mad, blah blah blah. Keith Cobain, Brad Pitt with his split up from Angelina. Sacrificing males, the Wicker Man ritual is embodied in Illuminism and is in this generator. So in this, I don't actually want to be absorbing any energy from this. So all I do is just add to the damnation of the males, because you can get energy without contaminating yourself simply by adding debt. So we're going to add debt to the male. And some more -I. There we go. But we don't upload any energy, because remember this is tuned to uplining. So I'm an upline for all the male super magicians. So that's tuned to directing me to damnation and -1, which is war or physical death. So you don't want to be absorbing anything. So I'm adding my debt to that to inure me from this nasty thing. As you can see, Illuminati don't like males. Males are just there to be sacrificed. So let's move on now to the pavilion. So this is the Royal Pavilion, Prince Regent's Palace. As you can see, it's aligned to have its big flat face in complex number space. You enter. The entrance is in I space. The -I is over that side. All the technology, all the ley line stuff going down to the fountain is on the -I side. And the Prince Regent had a special library and water funneled in from the sea up there to turn it into a organ chamber. And there's a pipe running down to the sea. And as you can see, it's constructed to be a big cathedral to magic. He's brought in all the energy from the Far East, which links up to Kalki. So you can see this is a gigantic Kalki generator. Kalki being the 10th avatar of Hinduism, who does no good, but just goes around feeding off evil and destroying evil. Literally an evil vampire that feeds off evil, destroying evil by growing stronger from evil. And there's a picture of Kalki in Hinduism. He's the ultimate badass, the anti-hero that never does a good deed in his life, but simply slaughters and is an apex predator that picks on the evil A-listers. So that's my complete methodology. I simply eye to the eye Kalki. Remember, there are a billion Hindus. Simply walk into Hinduism, walk into the Hindu avatar and manifest the avatar Kalki for the slaughter of all the evil ones. And remember, we're at the bottom of a Kali Yuga, so everyone on the planet's evil. Anyone who pumps goodness into the world is feeding evil and therefore evil. So all the light workers, by definition, are evil. Appearance of the Kalki avatar. Thereafter, at the conjunction of the two yugas, the Lord of Creation will take his birth as the Kalki incarnation, become the son of Vishnu Yaza. At this time, the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers, Rothschilds, kleptocracy. O Cassava, O Harry, who have assumed the form of Kalki, you appear like a comet and carry a terrifying sword for bringing about the annihilation of the wicked barbarian men at the end of the Kali Yuga. That's when everyone is evil. So we've got our psychic sword, negative torsion field generator to hell-eyes the plunderers, that's the Rothschilds, and the rest of them. Lord Kalki, the Lord of the Universe, riding his swift horse, Devadatta. And remember, his horse is Taylor Swift. If you look at the Taylor Swift video where she turns into a horse, I'm riding the bitch, and all of her Swifties are powering me. And sword in hand will travel over the earth, exhibiting his 8 mystic powers and 8 special qualities of Godhead, which means it's got to be a male. So it can't be a female, because 8 is the number for the male. Displaying his unequalled effulgence and riding with great speed. That's of course whipping the arse of my horse Taylor, which is giving me loads of power. He will kill by the millions those thieves and rogues who have dared dress as kings. That means killing all the A-listers. So that's why I do what I do. I've simply got the avatar Kalki as my manifestation, and all those billion Hindus are powering yours truly. So if you think this is really evil and nasty, yes, but it's there to kick the badasses into oblivion, because you can't get over Kali Yuga, which is the realm of total evil, until you've killed all these vermin, the Rothschilds, which then allows you to get back to the golden age. So all the light workers are going to be slaughtered like dogs as well, simply because they're feeding evil. And the only ones who survive are the ones that go after the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the Bronfmans and the A-listers and the billionaires, and using this technology, kill them all. But of course the profit, because you can kill them slowly and milk them by extortion. So as you can see, highly profitable, and you don't need to conquer the West. You simply use this technology to take over the surviving Rothschilds, and the West is yours, and it can be ruled from Beijing or Moscow or Tehran or Pyongyang or even Caracas. Depends, whoever masters the technology will master the West. So you can see this is a big Kalki generator. So you see George IV was linking up with the Kalki avatar, hence all this Far East Hindu technology.
In Bullets, that was in the Festival of Speed last week, and they've made the new one that looks quite similar, and they're both trying.
How you do for batteries?
Oh, nice.
It's quite tasty, actually.
How long is that?
Hopefully 30 minutes continuous.
That's good. We only need 30 minutes. So here again we've got another obelisk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the 5 bit. Remember, this is a war memorial. 5 pentacle, pentagram evil. Then of course we're got our collector up here. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the male principle. Then we've got this bit here, which gives us the 6 we get for our male principle there. Then we've got this top bit, which is 7 manifestation to control manifestation, and then that's screwing eye space so that all of this energy collected from the soldiers, which is -1, is injected into the noosphere. But remember, -1 will just zero the real world. So with this you can get rid of anything in the real world that you don't like, and the -I bit, which is the damned soldiers, can be stuck into complex number space, I to the I, -I to the I, to erase from reality the bits you don't want. So one can think of this, the soldiers simply allow the Illuminati to erase from the world real world things, and then with a complex number, future things. So this can be thought of as a brilliant board rubber, where you can simply wipe off reality, all the bits you don't like, all using...
Are they using the soul energies of the dead soldiers?
Yeah.
Why are they damned? Because they were
because they fought for evil and died for evil and accepted the contract. It's a contract. So when you join the army, there's a codicil, which they don't see, where they sign up, they're signing a contract to sell their soul to the great Lord Lucifer. So, you know, when you sign up, you have to sign papers. And the papers, of course, have got codicil.
What is that exactly?
That's the bit added on when you think bits of paper, the small print.
Yeah.
Which then allows their souls to be sold. Remember, under British maritime law, all Western citizens are chattel and can be traded. So all the major banks are trading the population chattel. Yeah, British maritime law. So the codicil to that is that all the souls of the humans under British maritime law can be sold to Lucifer by the Illuminati. So your soul's for sale. Annie's, Duncan's, all saleable.
And
How do you refute? Well, you have to actively. It's one of those contracts where if you don't do nothing, you accept it. So you have to actively refute it. And actively refuting is a whole new thing. You'd have to pay me to show you how to refute. Otherwise, that would be encroaching on the great Lord Lucifer's business.
what do you mean by the great Lord Lucifer?
That in the noosphere, in the noosphere, you've got an entity that's fed by the humans, horror films, the church, and all the other things, black magic, all the Luciferians. So it actually builds like a tulpa, an entity that's the great Lord Lucifer.
That's a thought construct created by us.
Yeah.
Or was it there already?
What other alien civilizations have similar beings, and they're all so similar. So you can imagine it's a megaversal entity with its Earth version here. Let's move on to the altar. Minion trolley.
Look like these columns.
Now these are the Kabbalistic pillars. This one.
Say this again. It's very good voice. These are the cameras.
These are the Kabbalistic pillars. This is the left pillar of evil. So.
Like I say, my friend has seen the Masons in Brighton bring their children down here when they reach 10 or 11 years old, and they get them to touch it at like midnight or something.
Yeah. So this one, you get rid of your evil. So we've got 13 concentric circles, the machine code of evil, to download all my evil into the pillar. And this is constricting the ley line system, as we've explained. And then we put all the satanic evil that I deal with has all been downloaded, so none of it backfires on me. It all goes into the human population, the ley line system. So every time you do this, the little energy bubbles of people swell up with the energy which you've stuck in to the ley line system. So Duncan and Annie and well, they're vampires, so they feel not, but your energy bubble is modified by that simple ritual. And then we go to the right hand pillar. This one's the good stuff, but I just like eviling it anyway. And the pedants in the Saturday Times will be whining about eviler, but as I say, language evolves. So here I'm gaining good, not by touching it, but by putting debt into it. So you can gain energy from touching, or by making it more evil. Either way you gain energy. I don't like touching these Kabbalistic pillars to suck up energy, because they're war memorials, and I don't want, as a male, link in with being blown to pieces, maimed, killed and sold. So I don't upload energy by direct contact, I upload it by adding depth. And as you can see, we've got the 1, the 2, the 3 space, we've got the deep state. No, it's the deep state that Theresa May has been told to run a continuous fleet to try and block the filming. Then we've got the trough for the water. So the water fills up with the rain, so they're sitting in the south. Then we've got one.
What's the purpose of that?
South is water, -1. So continue when it rains. These pillar with the names are sitting in the south, -1.
So this is really programmed esoteric.
Yeah, they all are. The whole of Brighton is. The whole of London. The whole of Birmingham. The whole of Manchester. Edinburgh. So then we've got 1, 2, 3 again, 3 space. We got the wreath, which of course has got Illuminati significance. You can make it from the vine. The vine is evil in Kabbalah and was the thing that stopped Moses from reaching the 50th gateway of attention, which is ascendancy, enlightenment, Metatronic. So we've got here the vine, which stops any of these escaping by the Metatronic route. So that's why this is up here, to block them. And of course we've got 6, 3 there, 3 there, which gives 6.
Brave people who died servicing, believing the future, they knew what they were really doing.
Well, they wouldn't, because they say this is all secret Illuminati knowledge. Minion, Rothschild, girlies please. So here, of course, we've got the altar. Look at the pillars we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll take it off, we'll put it back on. All of them. 5. 6, 7. 7 stands for manifestation. And here, of course, we can stick our Rothschild women to do a nice black ritual on all the Rothschild women.
We called her Emma, but she's actually Kate. Doesn't matter, does it? The name was wrong.
I don't know. I'll have to castigate you, Minion, in private. Full castigation is coming, Minion.
What's her middle name's Emma?
Extreme castigation. No, I'll take those with you.
Take it off.
So here, of course, we've got the Rothschild, who we're going to do the ritual on. Stick some bad stuff on. And let's name them. We've got Jessica de Rothschild, daughter of Evelyn Rothschild. Lynn Forrester de Rothschild, married to Evelyn de Rothschild. Nikki Hilton Rothschild, married to James Rothschild. Serena Mary Dunn Rothschild, wife of the Emperor. This is your master. Bow down to Jacob Rothschild. So that's the wife of the Emperor of the West. We've got Emma, who's now Katie. We've got Emma Georgina Rothschild, Charlotte de Rothschild, Ariana de Rothschild, and Annabelle Neeson Rothschild. So what we're going to do is call up this fucktard, Annabelle. There we are. And remember, once someone dies, their car, that's their revenant soul spirit, is around for 6 months. And after 6 months it dissipates unless you put it into a pyramid or a generator to keep it going, or like Crowley, burn it in Brighton to link up with the Prince Regent. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Rothschilds that we're going to input in. So of course that's the male energy. And remember, the husbands of these Rothschild women have all got their energy, because when you fuck a woman, her energy sucked out and given to the male. So all the men, the 8 men, either the boyfriends or the husbands, are all included in this ritual. Now what we want to do is transport all of the information from Annabelle into the Rothschilds and their husbands. Since they're self-similar, we can call up the Rothschild archetype. There we are. And we move her into eye to the eyeing her, whoops, inside the Rothschild archetype. She, of course, needs to be made minus eye. So we need to make sure she's minus eyed. So we need to get KP, who's the source of minus eyeing, which is in the trolley. So as you can see, technology for minus eye, you need a damned soul. She, of course, is damned. So what we're going to do is transfer her minus eye, upload it, but remember this is the one for transferring minus eye, to Annabelle. So we simply do that 3, 4, 5. That means then we can dispense with KP. So now what we've done, we stick the minus eye of KP inside Annabelle de Rothschild. This then, of course, can erase. So we do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That erases the old Annabelle. Then, of course, we can add to it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we've done the Damnation Transference. If you don't understand Damnation Transference, then you want to watch Mickey Rourke's film Angel Heart, where that's fully described, and or read the book Fallen Angel, where that's the whole basis of the book, where Mickey Rourke, the damned black magician, transfers himself into a soldier, and his damnation and soul, damned soul, is transferred into left behind. So he transfers his awareness into the soldier, and his damnation is left in the body. So what one could do is transfer the damnation from one person to the other. So instead of transferring the awareness of KP into her, what I'm doing is transferring the damnation minus I of KP into her, to make sure that when I call up Annabelle de Rothschild, stick her inside the eye space of the Rothschilds, we've now got an Annabelle Rothschild who's been fully damned, so that we have the minus I in the eye to give us the 0.2. Then we do it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Annabelle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Rothschilds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together to make it 100%. That then means the whole Rothschild family can be damned. We can have the 0.2 to start erasing all the information of the Rothschilds, all the causality, and of course all of the timelines where the Rothschilds survive me, to the timeline where all the Rothschilds are exterminated by psychic warfare. Not just by me, but by the Chinese, the Russians, the Vietnamese, the North Koreans, the Iranians, the Venezuelans, the Cubans, the Albanians, the Nigerian gangs, the triads, the Russian mafia, corporate world, all of the gangsters in the world who want to get in and extort the quadrillions from these people into their pockets. Now, here's the Rothschild archetype, which is huge, massive. You can imagine all those quadrillions. We stick in Annabelle into, we click, the Rothschilds in this one. Now we place this one, which is smaller, inside that one, its energy body. Just simply pop it out, put it in there. This then acts as the generator for that process, and as you can see, if you douse it, the Rothschild archetype starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until it's shrunk to this size. We can then start poisoning it, sticking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and again, stick on out the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, if we call up the Rothschild archetype, it's not there, it's gone, you destroyed it. If we call up this damned archetype of Annabelle Rothschild, who's perfect, bang, all the energy of the Rothschilds has been turned into her energy. Now, she's perfect and was chosen for the role. Why? Because she went to Australia, was tied to a tree, had her face beaten to a pulp so she looked like Elephant Man, and was multiply raped by a Wolf Creek. If you're into horror movies, watch Wolf Creek 1 and 2. Great. Nice Australian guy who multiply raped her while beating her face until she needed reconstructive surgery. So as you can see, this is the perfect information to embed into the Rothschild females. Why? Because we want to produce a world where all these Rothschild females are tied up, raped and beaten to a pulp, which means total breakdown of the West into Mad Maxville. So she is the mechanism to produce what happened to her to all of the Rothschild women. And after that she became a heroin addict because she tried to kill herself, and then finally fell off a horse, so she was in continual pain, saw her best friend Steve McQueen, the fashion designer, gay friend. She had she promoted him, funded him. That was her best friend who killed himself. And then finally she died, according to the papers, of a heart attack, the Kulagina death telekinetic pinch. That's what the papers said, she died of heart attack. So as you can see, we're priming all the Rothschild women, and via the women their men, to have their faces smashed to a pulp, be raped, become drug addicts, which means the entire West has to change to do that to them, which means the whole West has to change into Mad Maxville to have total breakdown of social order. So they're all raped, pulped, become drug addicts, all be desperate now for heroin, all have accidents that put them in pain, all see their best friends die, and then finally die from my remote killing technology. So if we call up the Rothschilds, gone. If we call up Annabelle the Rothschild, she suddenly subsumed all of them. So the information from her, the causality from her, has remanifested the Rothschilds. Because remember, with this technology, you can change the future. So the past and present are mutable. And of course, we change timelines to a timeline where these people take over the world, to a timeline where they're slaughtered like dogs, and within 10 years, there won't be a Rothschild left on the planet who doesn't pay me to live. If they don't pay me, they all die. I prefer they all die, but you can imagine when we get down to 1% Rothschilds, the survivors will all be desperate to pay for protection from the technology I've unleashed upon them. And we've all done this on a Freemasonic altar, so whenever the Freemasons go and worship in their temples, it powers this ritual. Whenever the Illuminati have their Black Sabbath altar with a new woman who they eat off, or the babies they sacrifice, all powers this ritual. And of course we've got the stone here, which is supposed to be the 10 Commandments, and the opposite side has got more writing, but I'm doing it from the north position, and as you see, the altar's got 1, 2, it's got a thing there, 3, 4, then it goes the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, then it goes in again. So this is complex use of the Fibonacci series. Time density, where we go from the fourth term powering the third term. The fourth term, of course, is 3, which is the fourth position, and the third term is 2, which is the third position. So as you can see, we've got this 3 here, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got the 4 down there. So time density has been inputted into this altar. And if we count the number of levels, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we've got 3 steps coming up here. 1, 2, 3 again, which gives us that 3 space. So as you can see, this altar is dedicated to the 9, and Colin Bly, of course, incepted the fountain group on 1981 and was always rittering on about the power of 9, and that's why he set up the fountain group in 1981. Why 9? Well, 9 is the 9th term of the Fibonacci series, is 34, and that's just control over the body and the soul. So if you want to control bodies and souls, you use the 9, and that's why the 34 BSRI engine, the term 34 is useful to have 34 crystals to be able to change the souls and bodies of your victims. Now, of course, these are the wrong way round, so we should turn them round. There we go. Because they're in the Black Magician's position. Now we've got Annabelle on the bottom, and we simply do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the Russians found that paper is a great collector of time density. So paper's brilliant for doing these rituals. 13. And if you want to read about time density, then you can simply buy Ostrander and Schroeder's book, Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain, which talks about that. Then, of course, if you want to finish the ritual, rather like a cookery program, you need to burn these to make it irrevocable, or take it to the end of the pier, chuck it into the water, which I do, after putting this in these squares, the symbol of evil, onto the metal pylons of the pier. And when you want to block a ley line, you stick an iron rod in, so that basically stops the earth energy coming into the country of doing anything but killing the Rothschilds. So that seals the ritual. But then, of course, I couldn't have the surviving Rothschilds paying me billions and trillions and quadrillions for saving them years in the future if I did that, because then it would be irrevocable and all the Rothschilds would die no matter what I did. I could not undo it. So if these bits of paper were burnt here, or I chucked them into the sea and did the iron rod ritual, that would then be completely irrevocable, and they would then not be able to pay me or do anything to stop it, and I would not be able to stop it. So as you can see, we put it in the state where I can stop it in the future for the few Rothschilds who are willing to pay me big money. Now, of course, we come to the pool. Here we got the -1 of the water, and if we count the sides, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you look at those bits there, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then those little bits there, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 12, of course, is the good stuff. So you can think when you plonk the souls into the -1, all the good stuff can be collected and dumped to the Black Magician, who's got the keys to put into the altar, because if you try anything on the altar it won't work, but Colin Bly gave me the keys for the ritual. And as you see, you've got the pillars here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the other side, another 6. 6 stands for the male principle. When you have the 2 male principles together, you get the 12. The 12 is to get all the good stuff, the billions and all the uber witches sitting on my face and all the people worshipping me, and the Ferraris and the mansions and the private jets. So as you can see, all of this technology is here only for the Illuminati. So when someone else comes to try and do the ritual, it won't work because they haven't got the keys. And as you can see on the opposite side, we've got our 10 Commandments type. This is just we've got power of the high seas, North Sea, narrow seas, home seas. All of these seas, of course, are the water. Yeah. So all of these seas, and then of course we've got the coat of arms, fishes of demons and Kabbalah, the 2 Kabbalistic pillars, and the crown dominion Keter over them all. So that's a Kabbalistic tree which is inhabited at Tiferet by the 2 fishes, which are demons, and the 2, of course, stands for the 2 energy you get from the males, 6th position, which is 8, and the 2 is used to make things solid. So you can see there's massive Illuminati symbolism in this altar, and I use this altar all the time for all my black rituals. It's great, right in the centre of town. Next we'll finish off with the fountain. This is the Minion, shut up! This is the Brighton fountain, and Colin Bly got all of the New Age movement from around the world to link their power spots, Ayers Rock and churches and the Vatican, all to put energy into this fountain, and the purpose was to produce this checkerboard effect. And what we're doing there is putting the I with a minus I, so when you mix them, the earth energy goes into this checkerboard, and what he did was produce a checkerboard that spread out from the fountain and went up the ley line system and eventually covered the country. This checkerboard then allows you to carry out complex number technology, as we explained on the last video. Then you can input information into the checkerboard if you're the one controlling its inception. You can then change causality and then change timelines. So you can change the information. Unions bad, Arthur Scargill bad, must destroy the unions. Change the timeline to the Starbucks McDonald timeline, 0 hours contracts, no workers' rights. Then you can change causality that the whole union movement, the reason that they banded together into unions was that the capitalist kleptocrats were stealing off the proletariat. We can change the past, erase it to the modern viewpoint where capitalism's good, and the more we screw the workers the better, and let's not even pay them. Let's have what you didn't have in 1981, which was these fucktard millennials working for free for a year and desperate to work for free for a year to get experience on their CVs. And we call these fucktard scum interns who wouldn't have even been given the time of day, but Colin Bly changed the whole of reality. Next, of course, we can move this checkerboard through having all of the New Age movement putting their energy into this. Remember, this fountain links us with the dark energy matter realm. Remember, fountains link us to the 7 levels and the underworld. So these entities then can travel up. They can enter into the checkerboard That's the whole basis of Enochian magic, where you've got a checkerboard and you move pieces along the Enochian magic checkerboard, the technology that was given to Elizabeth I. And that Elizabeth I technology can then use these entities to control complex number space in very sophisticated ways. That's Enochian magic. Think of this as the complex number milieu, and we have in Enochian magic a 12 by 13 checkerboard, which of course we've got the perfect 12 by 13 Enochian magic I-space generator in St Bartholomew's Church, which is 144 feet high by 169 feet long. And of course I did that with soccer, because there were 169 goals scored in the World Cup. And France, of course, won the World Cup because I wanted them to. Why? Because I could stick the Vietnamese energy into the French and use world football as a gigantic hell bomb, I with minus I inside, to erase everything in the world I didn't like. And 7 games to get to the final, so we have the Feigenbaum period doubling, the 7 levels, the 7 manifestation Sephiroth, the Kabbalah, and of course the 12 comes from all the good stuff you get from the World Cup, which all came into me to give me all the good things in the world by destroying the West using football. So you can do the same with NFL. That's the Colin Bly did the same thing by putting Nagasaki, Hiroshima, minus I, into Chernobyl, causing the reactor complex to be destroyed by one of the reactors blowing up, which then could be put into the Soviet Union to cause the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989. So this technology was used, occult warfare, to destroy the Soviet Union, just like Elizabeth I used it to destroy the Spanish, like the British used it to destroy Napoleon with a superstorm at Trafalgar, and how they used it at D-Day to calm the seas so the invasion fleet could come across and do in Hitler. Now, if we wander round the fountain, we see here more emergency services on full alert, video spoilers. These are Masonic stones from circles they brought round. Same with those there. They're all bits of rock from Neolithic sites, stone circles. More here. So I always wander around once in a clockwise direction to suck up the energy that Colin Bly incepted. And luckily on the south side we've got a stone laid by Prince Charles, which allows the royal family to be hit with minus I technology. Here we are. Nice stone laid by Prince Charles. So of course it laid it by his own hand. So one can then of course stick negative energy into the royal family. There we go. So we just do our 13 there. And we see why the Queen hasn't dropped down dead, because of the seashell, which has been protecting the royal family since George IV's time. Now it's being deactivated. This, of course, will be lethal to the royal family, and we should be seeing royal family people dropping down dead left, right and centre, which, of course, will get the paedophile, fucktard, degenerate Parker, I think Andrew Parker of MI5, will get him his knighthood immediately. And remember Amber Heard promised the Bilderbergers I'd be slaughtered like a dog, and she had to go to see the Bilderbergers to explain why she'd fucked up. And of course Theresa May now is being fucked over by the Brexit ritual. Remember we did that ritual where if she tried to do a soft Brexit, she'd be destroyed by the Rothschild's energy. So the more she tries her soft Brexit, the more Theresa May and the government will be destroyed. So there's only one safe way for the Tory party, which is to follow the brilliant, the wonderful, the charismatic Lord Snooty, Rees-Mogg, and have a super hard Brexit, pay the Rothschilds EU nothing, chuck out all of the EU immigrants in the country, the million Poles, the 400,000 Romanians, the rest of them, chuck them all out, and of course follow the great, the wonderful, the kind, male Mother Teresa of the world, Donald Trump, and sue the scumbag European Union, blackmail them by every means possible so that we bleed them dry and destroy them. So as one can see, Theresa May needs to listen to the great man, Lord Snooty, Rees-Mogg, and go for a super hard Brexit and fuck the EU. If she doesn't, then this technology will destroy the Tory party, destroy Theresa May, and bring in power to the people. Jeremy Corbyn, who of course will denuclearise the UK and bring in a golden age of socialism. So as you can see, all paths are fun. So we wander around. And as you can see, the fountain's great because in Kabbalah it's the bird's nest. See the demons in Kabbalah, fish are demons. We've got the 3 demons. That's the demonized Binah. The mother of demons is in Binah. And we've got the 3 levels, 1, 2 and 3. And we've also got 6 inputted because you can see we've got the one there, and one there that can be added. And you can see the 3 levels in the bird tables. There, then that goes down to 2, then that goes down to 1. Which is numbers from the Fibonacci series 1, 1, 2, 3. And as we saw with the bird table there, these things are used for hellizing. So we got all the New Age wanks to pump their energy into feeding demons who would come up from the netherworld, infect the grid system, which spread out to put demons, allow them free path to walk into humans, produce the fat, stupid, gender neutral people we've got now, which didn't exist in 81, to change the human population and make it easy for the walk-in technology. Here of course we've got the water, the -1, right at the south of England where the big ley line comes in here. So this can be thought of the -1 from the Argand diagram, the south, which is the realm of humans. We've got the birds, which in Kabbalah are the west. Noisy one. Shut up! Shut up! Which are in the west. That must be a female one. And the bird's nest in Kabbalah is where you put your good shepherds to be tortured and dump all your sins on them, so the super Jews, which are the vampires, can have all the good things in life. And harmonic convergence, the entire world population of New Agers pumped all of their goodness into the grid system to bring about harmonic convergence, which was raising the frequency of the planet, so that now in 2018 we're all living in paradise. We all live in mansions, drive Ferraris or Lambos or Maseratis, or if we're evil, we drive a Porsche. We have holiday homes, we have huge corporations, we walk on streets of gold. All of this is done by harmonic convergence, and everyone is living in perfect peace and harmony, because remember, the New Age wankers change the world. As you can see, there's a reality problem in that we don't live in that reality. We've got a few kleptocrats like the Rothschilds who've got all of the wealth, and the majority of Westerners like the millennials are going to be poorer than their parents in 81. They've lost intelligence, they've lost beauty, they're fat and ugly now, their health is degrading, they've got massive mental health problems. So as you can see, this technology of Colin Bly has worked. But remember, Colin Bly's technology was run by the military, and the military were not about to empower the population, because an empowered population can't be ruled. And all we've got left now are millennials like that, squealing away in anguish, whining on Twitter and Facebook, and having videos of the problems, when in fact they are powerless to do anything about it. So I simply wander around here.
Okay, running out of batteries. So.
We're finished. Wander around here to finish the circle. As you can see, this circle's for spirit, so we're containing the spirit here. And this is controlling the big ley line that comes in, and manipulating this fountain manipulates the big southern ley line that comes in and feeds the sexual energy of the UK, which was the assemblage point of the world. And by using this, you could then use the earth energies to change not only the British, but then change the Russians, and then of course they tried to change the Chinese. But by that time I'd taken the keys from Colin, and the system no longer worked because it had a new owner. That's an end to my little tour of Brighton, but if you go to London or any other major city, you'll find these things dotted around everywhere, and now you know why they're used to control reality for the Illuminati.
Well, thank you for contributing to this 88 part 5.
Thank you. I thought it was part 6, or part 7, or part 8.
Don't be silly.